He forgot his paperwork.
Sorry.
Mayor West,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Turner,
Here.
Councilmember Durio,
Present.
Councilmember Getz,
Present.
Councilmember Felshaw,
Present.
Councilmember Samuel, and Councilmember Neal.
Present.
Thank you.
Mr. City Manager, may I have the reading of item number 1, please?
Thank you, Mayor. Council to consider confirming the appointment of a new police chief.
Is there a motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the city manager's recommendation of appointment for the new police chief.
Second. The motion's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Yes, sir, Mayor. I'd like to make a motion that we reject the city manager's recommendation.
Have we,
I'm sorry.
haven't named anyone.
I'm sorry. For the record, the manager would have to name someone before we even do a motion in a second. Sorry.
Okay, Mayor, this is one of the harder things that you do as a city manager. Anytime you do into appointing police chief is really, really important to the community and divides the community. And that's why we went through such an extensive process and getting to this point for this. We wanted all of the community to be involved and have input, even up until today and what we were saying today. We had good candidates. We had all good candidates. If they made it to the Final Four, if they wouldn't have made it to the Final Four, they wouldn't have been a great candidate. So I applaud all the people that applied and made it to that point, and they were great. So there's nothing against anybody, because if you made it to this far, because out of 58 people, and it was part of my decision-making process that got everybody to that point, for sure. And in my decision-making, I never consider race and racism. I think of what's best for this city. I think of crime, and crime's been the issue in this city. We have one of the highest crime rates there is, whether it's driving or violent crime, et cetera. So my decision, as I showed to you, was based upon that, nothing else. That's not who I am. And that's the reason for that. So based upon that, and again, I thank all of the applicants for what they're doing, but I'd like to recommend the appointment of Mr. Troy Price as police chief for Beaumont.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the city manager's recommendation.
I'll second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded. For item number 1, is there any discussion?
Yes, sir, Mayor. I'd like to make a motion that we reject the city manager's recommendation for police chief.
Well, there's a motion on the floor.
When there's the newest motion has to get voted on first.
Right.
So council hasn't
The existing rules.
hasn't adopted Robert's Rules of Order. So under the adopted rules by council, Councilman Neal is correct. So if he receives a second for that motion, then that,
I second that.
Is there any discussion?
Mayor.
Councilman Felshaw.
So we're discussing the second motion, correct?
Correct.
Mr. Williams, each candidate had a quality that is obvious. As you look at this list of 4, as you said, they all seem very qualified. And I appreciate their interest in our community. I know that your decision was extremely hard. I know that. As a council member, I've heard from citizens from across Beaumont, male, female, black, white, brown, and the overwhelming response that I got was to promote from within. And when I say overwhelming, it was overwhelming. It wasn't close. I know that this is a very consequential vote that I will cast today. I know that. I understand how it impacts the future of our city. And although I would like to support your decision, I need to, number one, let the citizens know that I represent, that I heard them. I need to support Beaumont PD and honor 32 years of service and give hope to the officers of future advancement, that if you work hard, you serve faithfully, if you're loyal to our city, then that city will recognize that. And I need to follow my own personal assessment of candidates and their qualifications. And so for those three reasons, I must show support from promoting within. And I went through all this because I wanted you to know that I took this very serious and I wasn't very flippant about my decision. And I appreciate your hard work and all that you did, but I just can't support your candidate.
Councilman Getz?
I can't add much more to what Councilmember Felshaw said, because like Councilmember Felshaw, I have had an overwhelming number of my constituents asking me to support our police departments, police officers associations, endorsement of Assistant Chief Plunkett, and to promote from within. I have asked the city attorney if Chief Plunkett has any disciplinary issues at all in his record. No. I'm really, really dismayed by the smear tactics that have cropped up over the last 2 weeks to try to assassinate the character of Assistant Chief Plunkett. Totally not true. A lot of that's not true. So, Mr. Williams, I respect you very much, but I can't support this recommendation.
Councilman Durio?
Yeah. Everyone I've heard for, they tell me, and it's easy to find, Beaumont is the most dangerous city in Texas. You can look it up, it's everywhere. It's easy to find. My constituency said it's time for a change. It's time for a change. Mr. Williams presented us with an outstanding candidate, the most qualified candidate out of everybody on the list. The only thing that some of the other the Beaumont candidate had was that he was local. Well, we got to change what's going on in Beaumont. Some of my people, some of my cohorts up here said, well, you know, can a police chief help prevent crime? Well, I say that's part of his job. It's part of his job to come up with ways to help prevent crime, to help lower the crime rate. And basically, if you hire a local, I have nothing against these guys. I'm doing what I was elected to do. What my folks trust me to do. They trust me to make the best decision for them. And I've gotten calls, and in my opinion, it is time for a change. I don't like having a moniker of being the most dangerous city in Texas. And I don't like it either. And I do feel that a police chief can change that. But I feel that, I mean, we've had it's just not happening right now. It's just not happening. They showed, Mr. Williams, we were able to see videos of stuff that's on YouTube, you know? There's not even local, this is on YouTube about Beaumont, Texas, and how dangerous it is. And it's my people, my constituents, my family, everybody said, it's time for a change. We have a golden opportunity to make a change. But that's my opinion. That's all, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Neal?
Thank you, Mayor. Just a response to Councilman Durio. My opinion of who's the most qualified is obviously different than yours. And that's why we're down here right now. And I'm the one upstairs that made the comment that I don't think a police chief is going to greatly impact our crime rate in Beaumont, Texas. There's nobody in this room that denies we have a crime problem in Beaumont, but it's not the Beaumont Police Department's fault. So.
May I respond? He did call me out. I feel it's the Beaumont Police Department's job to find a way to curb crime in Beaumont, Texas. It's part of their responsibility, and that falls upon the chief, who's the leader of the department, to come up with plans and ideas to lower these crime rates.
Can I respond? Because he looked at me. The about the capture rate for Beaumont PD, it's excellent.
Excuse me?
What about the capture rate for Beaumont PD?
Well, as I said upstairs, they said they have a good rate of catching these murderers, and I said maybe it's because we have so many murders. That's why they got a good rate. They're good at catching them because we have a lot.
Can we call for the vote, Mayor?
I have a comment.
Councilman Samuel?
It's a shame that how you feel about your city, how safe it is, depends on where you live in the city. As I said upstairs, I have no problem with Detective Plunkett. But we have to do something to change. We have to see police officers in all parts of our city interacting with the citizens. It's not just to respond to crime, but patrol. Look for other ways to make things better in our city. I hate, again, as I stated upstairs, part of our job is to move our city forward, unify our cities, and to make it a place that we would want our mothers, our fathers, our children feel safe in living. I appreciate the process that was brought forth. I think it was fair. And I'll leave it at that.
Okay, well, before we call the vote, Councilman Turner.
Mr. Manager, I just want to thank you for your work and your time and the strenuousness you went through with this process. One of my biggest concerns was going through this process, if we felt good and already had, minds made up and knew this direction we wanted to go in, why not make the motion and say, let's go in that direction prior to going through this process using taxpayer dollars and actually going out and recruiting and doing all the things we actually went through. We had a process to get to know candidates. We had an option to go and listen to the interviews. I think it's extremely important that we need the people who also spoke in opposition to know we did hear you. At the same time, the people who want to speak in representation within, we heard you as well. In order to grow a population, specifically with the median age being 33, you have to have a safe community. And it's going to be extremely important that we work together to do so. I haven't had some of the best experiences working with everybody to get there as far as reducing crime, specifically dealing with the nightlife topic. But I hope in whatever direction we go in, we can get to a solution. Because right now we've been talking about it for too long and our crime rate isn't changing and everybody in the community needs to really feel safe. I appreciate everybody who applied. I have nothing against the local candidate. We can say it now. We don't have to say Beaumont no more, right? But I have nothing against the local candidate. But I do feel we truly need to look at alternative options to kind of reduce the current conditions that we're in as a city. Every time we meet with industry, every time we meet with big investors, the first thing they say, I don't know if I want to invest my money into the city of Beaumont because our crime rate is too high. And will a police chief do it all by himself? Absolutely not. It's going to take everybody in the community working together in a real conscious effort, not a fake one, but a conscious one, to get to where we need to be. So I appreciate the process. I do support your recommendation and what you did. And we'll see what the will of the council is moving forward.
Well, I would like to say that I have much respect for our city manager, Kenneth Williams, and I've seen him always act with character and integrity. And the way our system is set up, we get to, our council is a part of the process. And I was present at the interviews, and I was able to hear all the questions and the questions that the committee came up with. And I believe that there were several things, and all of them were good candidates. But to me, having someone that has served within a department for 33 years is important. Somebody with disaster experience, which was asked about by the committee, that was one of the questions they chose, I think is important. And I know that this is divisive in the community, that we have challenges here in this community. I expect us to continue to address them. I expect us to solve them. This is what we've been put here to do. But I appreciate you, Mr. Williams. I appreciate all the candidates as well. With that, if there's no, yes.
Mr. Manager, can you explain this part of the process? If a chief is not selected today, then where we go from here?
Well, and legal can add to this, but basically the city manager recommends an appointment and council confirms. And I'm not prepared to bring another name forward today on any other candidate.
Also, I would like to know, is it appropriate to ask for an individual vote?
You're asking for,
Yes.
that's at the discretion of the mayor, but there's,
Yes, I mean, I don't have a problem with the roll call vote, but if we just read the motion that we're voting on for clarity for everybody up here.
the motion on the floor is to reject the city manager's recommendation. And then there's still a pending, if that motion fails, then the secondary motion would be to approve the manager's recommendation.
So Mayor West,
I vote for denying.
Mayor Pro Tem Turner,
I vote against denying.
Councilmember Durio,
I vote against denying.
Councilmember Getz,
I vote to deny the request.
Councilmember Felshaw,
To deny.
Councilmember Samuel,
I vote against denying.
and Councilmember Neal.
I'm against the city manager's recommendation.
Thank you.
Okay, at this point, it's time for city council comments. I'll start with you, Councilman Durio.
I think I've already said it all, Mayor. I like the process. I think the process was good. I think the manager presented us with an outstanding candidate. And as of right now, we still don't have a police chief. Don't know when we will. That's all.
Councilman Getz,
No comment.
Councilman Turner,
No comment.
Councilman Felshaw.
Again, Mr. Williams, thank you for your hard work. I do respect you and all that you put into this. And I will say that in looking at the candidates, there's a lot of things that came into play for me in making my decision. One of them, or I mentioned the three of them before, but I will say that Mr. Price was my second choice. And then even a moment ago, you mentioned that he was a preacher. And so I like him even more. So I just want you to know that it wasn't so much a vote against him. It was just, I felt this was the right decision at this time. So, but again, thank you for all your hard work.
Councilman Samuel.
I have no comment.
No comment there.
Mr. City Manager.
Mayor, I'd just like to thank everybody who participated in this. I would like to thank the people who served on the committee. Yeah, I wanted a wide, diverse group from the community, people who had opposing views, and we got that. And we got those comments back from everybody. And I applaud them for those comments. Just one thing about the committee, though, it was explained to each committee member that they would not rank or put that together before that committee, as a condition of serving on that committee. So that was explained to them verbally and in writing that they would not be making a decision or a ranking. So that's clear. And I copied the council on those emails in which I communicated that too. But thank all of the candidates. Thank all the people. We have outstanding candidate. And again, Jason got to number 4. I wouldn't have taken him that far if I didn't think he was outstanding candidate. So I don't want anybody to think that because it's obvious he made it that far. He's a great candidate for sure. So thank everybody for the process, and we just look forward to continuing.
Yeah, Mayor, I just want to thank everyone who stayed. When I came in here the second time, I was really surprised to see that this place was still full. So this was really a concerning issue to the citizens, and thank all of you for coming and participating in this process.
I also want to thank everybody and appreciate all the citizens that made comments and participated in the interview process, and certainly our city staff. And we will continue on this process. God bless this city. This meeting is adjourned.
Hey, Mayor.